In 1997, a book was published called Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling, the story of a young boy who discovers he's a wizard.
You're a wizard, Harry.
And attends a magical school that looks somewhere vaguely like Scotland or magical Fairy Glen. Since then, the series has dominated literature and film. 7 books, 8 movies, and 2 Dumbledores make up the most successful franchise of all time. Harry Potter stories engulf readers of all ages into the wonderful world of magic, packed with characters we love and despise, plotlines that inspire and infuriate us, and the ultimate question of, it's the 1990s, why is sending messages via owl the norm here? You're magical, are nocturnal birds really the most efficient way to communicate? This is the second installment of applying a biomechanical lens to the fantastical creatures in a successful cinematic series. Here, we will focus on the Harry Potter films, which have grossed $8 billion and certainly contributed to youngsters' filmic education. Specifically, let's take a closer look at the Basilisk in Harry's second year, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. First, a little background. Harry had a tough childhood, raised by his non-magic or muggle aunt and uncle. He's an orphan because the evil Lord Voldemort, a murderous, noseless villain, killed his parents when he was a baby. Harry starts school at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, where he befriends Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger, a classic celebrity ginger brainiac trio. He plays the magical sport of Quidditch, and never learns how to add, subtract, or read complex sentences. Hogwarts has 4 houses, Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, and Slytherin, to match the 4 personalities of adolescence: brave, random, smart, and pure evil. Good one, Hogwarts. Way to go. Harry, Ron, and Hermione are in Gryffindor, of course, and Voldemort himself was in Slytherin, a house known for producing dark wizards. Sophomore year. Harry, Ron, and Hermione are now the wizened old age of 12 when a cryptic message appears from the heir of Slytherin and Muggle-born students start becoming petrified. Hogwarts is thrown into chaos. A 1,000-year-old monster lurks in the castle's depths. It waits for the heir of Slytherin to release it to attack all non-pureblood students. Cheerful, right? Long story short, also in this movie, Harry hears voices in the walls. Both boys hit puberty.
Head into the dark forest. Why couldn't we follow the butterflies?
There are some spiders, and Ron gets his driver's license. When Hermione gets petrified, Harry and Ron investigate and discover all the answers in about 45 seconds.
The monster in the Chamber of Secrets is a basilisk. That's why I can hear it speak. It's a snake. Instant death awaits any who meet this giant serpent's eye.
How's the basilisk been getting around? Pipes? It's using the plumbing.
They descend into the chamber and we meet the basilisk. How does this great creature hold up to biomechanical facts? Let's dive in. Legend calls the basilisk the king of serpents. The largest documented living snakes on Earth are giant anacondas, which can reach up to 30 feet in length. Assuming that 12-year-old Daniel Radcliffe is about 5 feet in height and performing some very rough estimates based on this fight scene, Slytherin's monster appears to be about 100 feet long with a circumference of 16 feet, kind of putting a flaw in the whole getting around through the pipes theory. The Harry Potter visual development team observed multiple live creatures to create a model head and neck. The rest was CGI, including working with an 8-foot Burmese python named Doris. I wonder how much Doris got paid. The basilisk certainly moves with the fluidity and flexibility of snakes. If it truly has been in the chamber for hundreds of years, as a reptile it most likely brumated, the reptilian form of hibernation. This is a dormant period, usually during the winter months when prey is scarce, in which an organism's growth, heart rate, temperature, and other metabolic processes decrease. Interestingly, Harry and Ron find animal bones littered around the chamber floor, as well as an enormous molted snake skin. Snakes molt regularly when their old skin is outgrown. These pieces of evidence suggest that the snake had been physiologically active to hunt small animals and was thus deprived of sufficient food for a 100-foot-long monster. Thus, if the basilisk's brumation was inconsistent, magic would have had to be involved to store its energy enough to launch into battle the moment it was released. The film's depiction of the chamber harbors a body of water that the basilisk emerges from multiple times. While snakes breathe oxygen, some have evolved to swim and seek prey underwater. For example, the sea snake, who lives in warm coastal waters, has long lungs to keep a steady oxygen supply. It adapts its body to become vertical while it swims, creating more surface area and allowing it to thrust against a larger volume of water to ease its swimming ability. The basilisk, in such a confined space, would most likely not be able to get enough exercise to maintain the strong muscular abilities it demonstrates when fighting Harry, supposedly emerging for the first time in decades. The basilisk's skull echoes that of a crocodile, creatures that require oxygen but spend most of their time submerged in water. Crocodiles have evolved to have a waterproof passage between their nostrils and windpipe so that their mouths can remain open underwater. This basilisk definitely has nostrils, however they appear to not work too well. In this unnecessarily tense moment in which the basilisk corners Harry and is only feet from him, it does not appear to smell him at all. Snake biology wouldn't explain this either. Snakes have nostrils to breathe and process scents and smells with their tongues. However, the basilisk's open mouth here would have been most likely able to detect Harry, a pretty scrawny morsel, right in front of him. While the basilisk's fangs do hinge backward like those of a venomous snake, its head and jaw don't exactly match up to fact. Snakes have thin jawbones that are flexible and connected by one single ligament. This way they can swallow prey significantly larger than their body size without having to break them down with their teeth. The basilisk, on the other hand, has a very defined jawbone. Lower jawbones on animals are often higher than they are thick. This shape is ideal for the chewing functions of mouths and makes the jaw very strong in the direction that it moves, up and down, as it chews food. This is similar to the T-beam in a building, which stabilizes architecture and acts as a load-bearing structure. It allows large compressive stresses to be resisted in one direction while using a minimum amount of material. Other than this facet, the basilisk's enormous size and thus hugely heavy skeleton accurately makes the kind of forceful impacts that an organism of this mass would, such as smashing the rocks with a targeted jab or a high amount of stress in a concentrated area. After living in a hole for millennia, it makes sense that the basilisk would want to take out some of this anger on the mysterious rock formation with luscious hair.
He's rather disagreeable, isn't he?
The basilisk's most dangerous feature is its ability to kill with one look of its eye. Interestingly, most reptiles have tetrachromacy, which is 4 cone cell types in their eyes, meaning they can perceive 100 million colors. Biologically, the basilisk's eyes would be its most powerful sense, especially because it can kill or petrify people from afar. While this feature is certainly magical in the basilisk, several living organisms use some version of petrification on their prey in the real world. The pistol shrimp is very dangerous from a short distance. When it snaps its claws shut, it contracts both an opener and a closer muscle, and the building tension sends an explosive blast of bubbles at its prey, about 100 kilometers per hour, creating a sound of about 215 decibels. As the bubbles burst, they momentarily reach the temperature of the sun, 9,900 degrees Celsius. This shockwave of pressure and heat stuns its prey for long enough for the shrimp to attack, or sometimes can be powerful enough to immediately kill them. Another example of real-life petrification can be found in the cuttlefish, which have powerful camouflage abilities to disguise themselves and protect themselves from predators. Their skin, controlled by their nervous system, can change color, opacity, and light reflectiveness. They can also change their physical makeup to their own advantage for predation. The cuttlefish hypnotizes its prey via the mesmerizing color changes on its body by pulsating waves of color so that its prey will become momentarily captivated, or petrified. Then, the cuttlefish strikes the unknowing prey, stuck in a trance with 2 feeding tentacles. The basilisk in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets is clearly rooted in reptilian biology, and the mechanical adaptations made to accommodate its enormously magical size translate well onto screen. Of course, this creature is amazingly magical, mostly because it has an excellent map of the plumbing of Hogwarts Castle that is apparently made up of tunnel-sized pipes. Assessing the viability of a fictional creature is complicated, but a significant amount of the biomechanics of this animal are rooted in biology, particularly the adaptations in skull construction to maximize power, and excluding its 1,000-year-old dormancy. While petrification simply via eyesight is unrealistic, there are several versions of this power in the wild. Powerhouse franchises like Harry Potter most certainly inspired a passion for creatures, magical and real, in young readers and viewers. Harry Potter has a plethora of magical creatures, from dragons to goblins, centaurs to dementors, phoenixes to thestrals, acromantulas to basilisks. The basilisk is a perfect example of how observations from the real world can construct a fantastical yet not unbelievable scene, in which Harry demonstrates incredible skill with a blade despite the fact that he is still wearing his ridiculous school robes, and falls flat on his face. So dramatic, that one. A series like this cultivates a love of magic in the billions of fans worldwide, and most likely, a love of science as well.